Hello. What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well, had a fantastic and more importantly, safe weekend with the war actually still going on. So, wait, I'm a bit out of breath. So, as usual, if anyone is in the live chat, could you quickly let me know if the sound and video is good before we dive into everything? It was a pretty decent week, right? With the resistance offering a rejection. We're gonna cover everything, of course. Then we even got the drop before the pump as expected. But again, before I dive into everything, let's just get some confirmation. Mm-mm-mm. So I'll just wait a minute or two. Then we will cover this current move that we're seeing. So, um, hello Jean-Pierre, audio is good. It's nice to see you. So thank you for the confirmation. With that said, we can dive into today's price action. So last week, well, what happened this week? It was in a way expected, but in a way more extreme that I personally maybe expected or wanted to see. Because if you remember what I said last week, was that I was switching my bias on seeing a straight drop to the downside on Bitcoin. And what I wanted to see actually was sideways price action before we see the break of $60,000. If we look at the plans, that was the first plan, which I wasn't sure would play out because I did say that this drop was a bit too big in my opinion. But anyway, that was the first plan. It was that we would take out $62,000 before seeing a bounce to the upside. But the second plan that I had favored was this one, played out pretty well, especially the first half. I wanted to see a drop into support on Monday. That's the kind of unfortunate part, but I wanted to see a drop on Monday to see a pump into the first resistance, which was $70,000. To see a rejection, we got the rejection. To form a bottom, we formed the bottom. And then to see another bounce to the upside into $70,800, which was my second resistance right there. And from there, I was looking for a potential top. Now, how did I trade this week? It was following this plan, especially the first part. So we can go over to the Discord. So Sunday, actually, funnily enough, right after the live stream, if you guys remember, so I was in the short from $74,000 initially. Okay, I had taken last week 40% of my short position on Thursday. Was that Friday? I don't know. If you can see the date. So I had taken 40% of my short position, around $66,800. Okay. However, after the live stream, I went to sleep and we got a pump, which is why I didn't send the chart because that was from my phone. I was in bed. But I woke up at 2 a.m. to some alerts and I decided to close the rest of my short position right here, which was around $68,800. Of course, in hindsight, going back to the charts, that was a very good decision because Bitcoin ended up pumping all the way back up towards $73,600 ish, which was around my entry price, $74,100. So very good decision to fully close my short position. Now, for the rest of the plan, okay, now I didn't short this, which was the first rejection at $70,000, even though it was the first resistance, just because I had just exited my short position and I didn't want to jump into a new one straight away. But then, following Sunday's plan, I had the support $68,300, which I ended up longing. As you can see, got the exact low on this candle. We were seeing such a nice pump when I woke up. Honestly, at this point, I was really hoping that Sunday's plan would fully play out. As you can see, everything lined up perfectly with the rejection, with the bounce. I had taken my long position. At this point, I really believed that we would take out this high. Now, unfortunately, before taking out that high, we got one more low, so I got stopped out of my long position for pretty small loss, but still pretty annoying. I got stopped out of my long position, and then we got the reversal to the upside as expected on Sunday. Now, $78,800, we didn't have any reaction, so personally I didn't open a short position. Again, that was at night. I was asleep. I woke up and I quickly let you know that there was no short position at 70.8. So that was mainly it for this week. Then on Friday, I did try one short position right there because I believed that we wouldn't take out this high if price wanted to drop, which also turned into a loss. So overall, pretty average week, nothing super significant. I am of course super happy that I fully closed my short position. Okay, at 68.7. The long position, that one annoyed me. It annoyed me a bit because I really believe that price would go higher. But anyway, this short I don't mind it too much, right? It is what it is. Now we can dive into today's price action. So we can remove this Sunday plan, this resistance, Sunday plan 2. I think I can remove this potentially at this point. I'm gonna hide this, just making my chart a bit more. Too much levels on my chart. Okay, so with that said, what happened this weekend? If you guys remember, we had the quarterly pivot. Where is it? $73,500. Let's go on the 4-hour chart. We came up right into the quarterly pivot. We got a small deviation from my resistance, but of course not a big problem at all. And then we got the rejection to the downside. Freaking annoying because again, I don't trade the weekends and we're getting moves on weekends, which is just, yeah, I mean, I can't do anything about it, but that's what happened. We tapped the quarterly pivot and we got the reversal to the downside. So with that said, let's do a quick recap on the higher time frames. If anyone is new here, you know my view. This has been my higher time frame plan for pretty much 2 months at this point on Bitcoin. Wanted to see the move up into $75,000, $76,000 to then see the reversal to the downside below $60,000. This plan remains valid until so as long as we remain below this high at $76,000. If we go up and we break this high, then personally I will reconsider my bearish bias on Bitcoin. But at this point, as long as we remain below this high, this higher time frame plan remains valid. And personally, I want to expect a move below $60,000. Okay, that's just my bias. We can, if you guys want, let me know. But we can look at history and just see that Bitcoin has never, ever bottomed like this. If you guys want to know, so we can dive into some examples. Let me know in the live chat. But Bitcoin has never bottomed like this. This has been my higher time frame plan. We remain below $76,000. So at this point for myself, I don't see any reason to flip bullish just yet. Now with that said, once again, if anyone is new, I have personally bought Ethereum on spot at $1,800. Okay, so that's just something you have to keep in mind. Now, diving onto the lower time frames. We have a CME gap above us. We literally closed the week at the highest point, so the CME gap is at $73,300. Logic says we don't recover that gap. Okay, I'm not gonna mark it out on my chart, but you guys that are here on the live stream, you have to know, super unlikely, at least in my opinion, that we fill that gap. So with this in mind, what am I looking for this week? Well, ideally, what we get is I think this shop was good enough. Okay, we're getting the drop over the weekend. So if Bitcoin wants to drop, reminder, we have to remain below $76,000. Think what would be nice to get would be, and at the time for this, I would look for a late Monday high. So maybe around 20. Okay. Then let's also put a Tuesday pivot, maybe after the New York Open. So it will be a bit more detailed than usual, but this is how I would personally see this week playing out. Okay. So we drop, potentially going into, so into tonight, it's already night, but you get my point. So we drop, we got a bounce into tomorrow, late tomorrow, we go sideways, we put in a Monday high, we continue lower, towards Tuesday, we get a small bounce, and then we continue lower for the rest of the week. That would be my initial plan looking at the charts like this. What would be my support? Well, we have a daily imbalance plus an order block, 12 hour imbalance, 12-hour order block, 4 hour wickless candle, which is also an imbalance by the way, on the 1 hour. So I would probably take this level. This actually coincides with my drawing already, so I don't have to change it. Looking at this, I don't mind this plan too much. Let me just fix it a bit. I'm a bit OCD. Don't like the way it looks. Up, back down, back up, back down. Something like this. I think that looks good. So that would be my plan for this week. I don't see anything else playing out. Of course, if we just get a reversal from here and we fill the CME gap, then I will just film a new update tomorrow. But in any case, if that happens anyway, I'm not trading today. Remember, I don't trade the weekend, so I will just go to sleep, wake up tomorrow and see what happened. If we got the job into the bounce, I will know to expect a Monday high somewhere around this area. If we get a straight bounce, then very simply, once again, I don't take any loss because I don't trade today and I can film a new update tomorrow. But for now, I think that this should be my bias. Does this look good? I don't know. Doesn't look bad. I could see another scenario where we like, instead of getting a Monday high, we get a Monday low, then we get a bigger bounce, and then we continue lower. That would look a bit better maybe. But I'm gonna keep this plan just because we get offered the trade on Monday, right here at least, right? So yeah, ideally we get a late Monday pivot. You know, this price action is quite common, okay, when we top out on the weekend and we drop. Look at the last high that we got, which was this one. Remember, we got the drop over Sunday. We went sideways on Monday. We topped out late Monday right there. Look at the time below, 16. Late Monday, even you can take it to 17. And then we got the reversal for the rest of the week. We can look also at the, now this one was a bit different, I guess, because we didn't get a drop on Monday, but still we got the weekend price action. We got a Monday high at 20 and then we got the reversal lower. Do have another one in mind, but I'm not going to waste too much time on this because I'm guessing you guys don't really care about that. But you get my point. You get my point. Okay. Hello Kajuz. Hello Ayash. It's nice to see you guys. I hope you all had a great weekend. So that will be my plan for Bitcoin. That's what I'm gonna put right there. Sunday plan. What is this? Okay. So I'm gonna keep this right here. I would like to retest this level. Okay, so if you guys want a resistance, just keep this one in mind. I'm gonna keep this one on the Sunday plan. 71.4. I'm not gonna redraw this. I can't be asked, but the resistance would be this one. 71.5 looks fairly interesting. Okay, I'm gonna hide it for now. Yeah. If we move higher, okay, let me hide this for 1 second, guys. If we break back above this high, okay, I'm not above this. Personally, I'm not gonna look for any short position. I know that a lot of people are talking about $79,000 to $80,000. My opinion, I've said it before, right when we were on that resistance. I took the short right there, remember? And also there, I said the same thing. It doesn't really make sense to retest $79,000 to $80,000, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm trading my bias and yeah. Okay, So with that said, we can move on to Ethereum, I guess. I don't know if you really care about Ethereum. It will probably just follow Bitcoin. I mean, this is still the key level to reclaim in my view, so that would kind of correlate with Bitcoin that we can't really break this high on Ethereum. Again, I could be wrong, especially on Ethereum. I don't analyze this coin too much, but I had marked this level for a while. Key to reclaim. We got the rejection, and right now I would like to maintain this lower high. Okay, remember on Ethereum, it's a bit different for me because I hold spot now, but I'm just talking about a trading perspective, of course. Yeah. Okay, so not much to say on Ethereum. Probably it will just follow Bitcoin. So maybe drop, bounce, drop back down, bounce, and then continue down. Not much to say on that. Okay. Next, Solana. Ideally, the bear market target still remains $51. XRP, nothing. We had this level now before actually, so that's something to keep in mind. Now I remember someone had asked about XRP. And yeah, I have nothing else to note on any other coin. Gold, I mean, I don't know. That doesn't look very healthy. Silver looks a bit healthier, but my view hasn't changed. And yeah, for the stocks, can you take a look at diesel? Dude, like, what is this chart? I saw this chart when did this drop? Was it this week? Tuesday the 10th. Yeah, it was this week. That drop was crazy, and then it went straight back up. I mean, as I said before, I don't have any good info on oil, so I don't know if I want to give my opinion on this. It's not gonna be super valuable, but again, just in case anyone holds any like oil stock or maybe oil options, I guess, just be aware that when oil tops out, it's a bit like silver where it just goes straight to the downside. Look what happened right there. Straight up, straight down. Look what happened right there. Now that was a bit slower, but still look at the reversal. Straight down, right there, straight up, straight and back it down. So when you have profits on oil, you probably want to you probably want to look to book some profits. Okay, you don't go broke taking profits. That's something I've learned over freaking years of experience. But you know, not financial advice, but if I personally owned anything related to oil, which I don't, I've said this before, probably only look to take profits. So yeah. Now looking at the stock market, we did get a very strong bounce. I still had my target to the downside before finding a bottom. I still think this is valid. I still think this is valid. Yes, this is a strong bounce, but I don't know, man. Everything seems a bit too early in my opinion. Now, again, Bitcoin, we break above $76,000, I will reconsider my view. But as long as we remain below $76,000, I don't need to reconsider my view. It's that simple. Higher time frame plan remains unchanged until proven otherwise. I don't need to front on a break of this high and say that, oh, it looks bullish and you will break above that high. For me, I don't know. Just nothing has changed really. So the stock market, I would, one more drop would just be so welcome. But I will have to say, getting such a big drop on the stock market to reach this target would mean that we probably get some very bad news over the coming weeks and months, which I think is possible and maybe a bit more likely as well. I mean, I'm not gonna talk too much about the war, but it does seem like some people do not want the war to end, which is quite annoying. Okay, I don't like the war. Okay, it's affecting me personally, so I freaking hate it. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think the war looks like it wants to end soon. And without looking at the war again, I'm just referring to my Bitcoin plan, which was outlined before the war started. Bitcoin has never ever bottomed like that. I guess since we don't have too many questions today, I can we can look at why Bitcoin has never bottomed like that, in case anyone is new here. How many hours a week are you behind the charts? Well, I'm either home on the charts, or I'm at the gym, or I'm sleeping. So any waking hour, pretty much, I'm in front of the charts, even if I'm not trading. So you can see this week I just took 2 trades. But the rest of the week, I'm still looking at the charts because I want to understand, for example, right there. Like, I wasn't early on my long and I was not wrong on my long because certainly it was a good support that offered a very good bounce for a day trade. Okay, personally, I was looking to take it higher, but it was still 1.5%, so that was a very good level. But I was looking at this bottom, and even though I wasn't really interested in trading it, I was taking notes about what was happening, right? We had a 30-minute imbalance, we had a fairly big wick, which personally I didn't like. I wanted it to get recovered. Plus on Binance, we had the 4-hour imbalance, if I remember well. Where is it? Right there. As you can see, we had the 4-hour imbalance. So even though I didn't take a second long position, I was still taking notes. So even though I didn't trade it, I do understand what happened there, and it will help me in the future to kind of maybe, if we get such a move happen in the future, I will have, for example, this pattern in mind. And that's how you build experience. Pattern recognition is just, a bit of something that you have to do if you want to make it as a trader. So even when I'm not trading, I'm looking at the charts. The only time I'm not really looking at the charts is on the weekends, especially if I go out on the weekends. I just don't want to look at the charts, man. I spent enough hours in front of the charts during the week, so on the weekend I just want to chill. Okay, how do you split money between spot and trading account? This depends on everyone. I don't know. Personally, I'm a bit of a bigger trader, so my main income, I guess you could say, is from trading. But I mean, I don't know. It's a very vague question. It depends. For example, someone who wants to do trading as a maybe as a side income, but does a lot of money in his job. Maybe he wants to do like 80% in investing and like 20% in trading. Just depends on everyone. Right? I'm a trader at heart, so most of my like capital, if you want, will be in trading. Okay. Now, if we don't have any more questions, I do want to cover this one more time. We have covered this in the past, but it is important to always bring back context. What is the context here? We got the first drop on Bitcoin. We got the first low. It was a very high volume low. We got a very big wick, especially on the 4-hour, which is what we call a capitulation wick. Right there, we got the massive wick. And right now, we still have not taken out that wick. Now, if we go back in the past and we analyze every single range that led to higher prices, what happened on Bitcoin? We can start with this one. We got a drop, we got a range, and then we got higher prices. What happened on that range? We had the first low, we took out that low, and then we got the reversal to the downside. Right there, same thing. We got that very big drop, that big wick. Okay, take that wick, you take out that wick, you get the reversal to the upside. Let's look at another range that led to higher prices. So we're lower, 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 range, higher prices. Take this, you have the drop, you take the low, you take out the low, you get the reversal to the upside. Let's take another range. This one, you could take this low, we take it up, but that's not really a range. Again, lower lows, we can look this range. Okay, small range, but still, you had the first low, you take out the low, you get the reversal to the upside. Look at this range that spent so much time. Okay, we got the first low, we took out that low once, twice, 3 times, and we got the reversal to the upside. You get my point. Even on this bear market low, we got the first low, we took it out once, twice, we got the reversal to the upside. So every single time in history Bitcoin puts in a range to move higher, we put in a first low, we take out the low at least one time before moving higher. Does it make sense? In my opinion, if this is the last time you will get Bitcoin below $100,000, I've said this before, keep this in mind, guys. My opinion, this is the last time you will see Bitcoin below $100,000. Does it make sense that if this is indeed the last time that Bitcoin will be cheap, quote unquote, that we will just get one low, then we will put in very deep higher lows? So we got this one that I personally long. Remember, I did open a long on the right on the bottom right there. I opened a long, but still doesn't make sense that we would get a low, deep higher low, deep higher low, deep higher low. Then okay, this one it took out this low, but still it remains that we have a lot of lows right here. And then Bitcoin is kind of putting in this triangle, and then we will just continue higher. I don't know, man. To me, it doesn't make too much sense. So that's just a bit of higher time frame analysis in case anyone would like a bit of confluence. Now again, I will be ready to admit that I'm wrong if we break $76,000. And of course, at this point, like if we do something like this and come back down, like I won't come on Sunday and say that, okay, go all in long right here. You need to see strengths, but anyway, doesn't make, like, I won't talk about this right now. Do you like diesel? What do you mean, do I like diesel? This is, I mean, I don't mind it, I guess. But if you ask about me investing in it, no, I don't really invest in oil. So with that said, I think I have yapped enough today. It wasn't a very long stream, but we didn't get too many questions, which is not a problem, of course. So I think we can end it here. I've talked about the stock market. Now a quick as well, we talked about Netflix. Look at Netflix, guys. All I'm gonna say is that we marked out this level, told you guys look for the deviation below the low, and I personally entered on the reclaim of that low. Man, look at Netflix, it is freaking up super nicely. So that is something to keep in mind. You can be wrong on your bias in trading and investing, but still you can make money if you look for the right opportunities. You can go on the live stream that we did on this Sunday, which was, I guess, on the 22nd of Feb. Go back on this live stream. We talked about Netflix, and look right now, what is that? 30%, 35%. So yeah, I'm not gonna complain. Do you drive diesel? I mean, I drive a petrol engine, just normal gas. I don't know. I'm like, would you short tomorrow's stop? Yes. This goes back. I will do I will do a recap on Bitcoin. If we don't have any more questions, I will end it. If we have more questions, I will take the final questions and then end the live stream. Bitcoin. So, what happened over the weekend? We tested this resistance that we talked about last Sunday. Personally, I didn't really want to see it reached, but it got reached. What did we have as well? We had the quarterly pivot, $73,500, which now got tapped, which is very nice to see because we don't have this annoying thing to kind of act as a magnet to the upside for price. Now, if you are in long, of course, that's very good, but you get my point. Now, we tapped the quarterly pivot. That was the last resistance. We got the rejection. And right now, this is what I'm looking at. Probably you sweep this triple bottom, you have a first low, second low, now you have a third low. So ideally what we get is a sweep of this triple bottom, get a bounce back up into tomorrow, and ideally I want to look for a top tomorrow towards night. Okay, you can see the time below. I would say anywhere from 16 to 20 would be a good time to start looking for a top on Bitcoin. Now, obviously, I will have my imbalances. I don't trade based off of time, but it is something that I always keep in mind. Is it too early or too late to look for a top or for a bottom? So I will be looking for a Monday top, ideally late towards the day, of course, if the scenario plays out. If we get the straight pump to the upside, I will have to do a new plan. But for me, what I'm looking for, take out this triple bottom, go up, go a bit sideways, build a bit of liquidity, and then get a reversal to the downside. For the reversal, we do have a bit of support around $68,500, which could definitely offer a bounce on Tuesday, but ultimately I would be looking for that bounce. I don't think I will long it, but if we get the right reaction, maybe I will have to my short if everything plays out. We get the bounce, and then we continue lower for the rest of the week. Once again, guys, If something else plays out, it's not a problem at all. I don't trade the weekend for these reasons. You usually don't have the absolute best visibility on Sundays. So I will go to sleep. I will wake up tomorrow. If we get this, perfect. If we pump, I will just film a new plan. It's not a problem. We learn and we adapt. But usually we get the plans right. So yeah. Can you still take a look at these fuel low sulfur? What? Sulfur gasoil cash. Whoa, oof. Okay, you're gonna have to send me a symbol, a ticker symbol. Low sulfur. This gasoil cash. Low sulfur. Mine caps no. Low sulfur. Is there no ticker symbol? Something like this. Gas, oil, cash. Oh, okay, I see. On active trades. That's weird. Hmm. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Can I do technical analysis on this? Let me try. I mean, this is clearly a range low, but where would be the range high? Would it be that? Hmm. I don't know. Let's see. Hmm. The best. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be hard for me to do TA on this chart. Is there something that goes back in time maybe a bit more, or is this the full chart? Because then maybe I could look at an Elliott wave count. But it does look, I don't know, like three, one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, maybe that could work actually. Let me look at something. That will just be a bit of an experiment, I guess, because again, I don't know anything about this asset, and I have to admit it's gonna be hard for me to do technical analysis on this. Well, I'm gonna try just to see if it works. It will be fairly interesting to find something. So one, two, three, four, five. Okay, so I'm gonna take the wave one, the low of wave two, log. We are on log scale. Wow. Oh no, actually, that's not what I wanted to do. My bad, my bad, my bad. So what I wanted to do and try to find the bottom of this. Okay, we took out that liquidity. Not really. Hmm. Just checking some things. Apologies if I'm taking my time, but in any case, this will allow anyone, if you guys have any more questions, to send them in the live chat. Just for a second. So we have some volume there. I like this area of volume. So I would guess if this comes in, Yep, that's nice. Okay. So if this comes into the bottom of wave 4, if of course the count is correct, then what you would look for is this. So that would be the wave 1, that would be the wave 5. 1651. Oof, that looks a bit high. But could this work for an Elliott wave count? Again, I don't know anything about this asset, and I'm just doing this to 1, 2, just 3, 4, 5. No, I don't think this looks bad. I don't know. Just save this, I guess. Maybe it plays out, maybe it doesn't. I don't have high confidence in this, okay? But I don't mind it. I don't really mind it. That would be, of course, assuming the wave 4 comes down there. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Okay. So I think that's just what I'm going to put on this asset. Because I'm guessing that if my analysis on the stock market and Bitcoin is correct, then probably oil, meaning diesel as well, is not done moving up. That would just be a bit of. Oh, come on. Front run this target. Okay, that's how I would play it. I mean, I don't know. It's very hard to do technical analysis on this chart, I have to admit. But I don't mind the support. The count looks decent. So yeah, it could work maybe. Um just diesel is the ticker, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah. Yeah, so again, take this with a big grain of salt. Okay, if this fully plays out, I'm not gonna come on here and say I predicted this because I'm like I'm mainly doing this to see if like it will be a note for myself, of course, if this plays up, but it's not like silver where I was invested in this and then I had this level in mind and then I started selling before reaching that level. And on the stock market as well, where I sold all of my stocks while heading into resistance. So there I had money on the table. Right there on the analysis that I just did, I don't have money on the table. So that's why when I analyze an asset that I don't have money on, I don't love to analyze it because it's just like I'm giving you something and I'm not playing around it. So I think it's just I feel a bit dishonest, I guess. But yeah, my point anyway. I'm done yapping. Okay, guys. So we did the recap on Bitcoin. Are we getting any movement? No. Remember, guys, just keep in mind this level because you can note a bit of an area. I'm not gonna short this. If anyone is wondering, I'm just not interested in shorting this. Okay, I just want to wake up tomorrow and see if we can form a Monday high. That's what I'm gonna look for. What is this? Okay. So with that said, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for all the live chats. If you could, of course, leave a like on the live stream, that would be massively appreciated. Once again, everything that we do, every trade that we share, every scenario that we share is shared for free on YouTube and on Discord. If you guys want to join the Discord, it is free, and I will post the link in the comments of the live stream. I mean, this change has been traded very, very, very well. Of course, I could have done something a bit better, but long down there, shorted up here a bit early, so I took a loss on this one, but long down there for a very big win, shorted a bit early, small loss, but then we got the reversal. Then we called this low, I remember, but it happened on Sunday once again, so I didn't long it. I shorted up here, and we called this low last Sunday. I tried a long, I was just a bit early, but I tried it. But this range has been played fairly well. Of course, I could have done it a bit better, but overall, I'm pretty happy with my performance over this range. One thing I already talked about, maybe I could have long down there. I was a bit too bearish maybe, but it is of the past. I've already talked about it. And as I said, I am fully done yapping. So once again, if anyone maybe just tuned in, this is the plan for this week. Hopefully this plays out. Looking for a Monday high tomorrow. Once again, thank you everyone for the comments, for the kind words, for the question, for the likes. And with that said, I will see you all tomorrow morning inside the Discord. So see you soon everyone, and goodbye.